What's up, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of the excellent podcast. I am your cinematic host, STEFON WHITAKER, the head honcho of SW Films. And today,
Yes,
we
sir.
have a very special, very special first guest on the interview today. This man I went to film school with. We built a very genuine relationship and friendship and just overall just brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? This man, first off, is he's like the Hype Williams of Florida right now. Okay. My man is killing it. This dude has been doing a lot of really dope shit out in Florida, out in the Central Florida area. My man, Mr. Enedawry Santana of DPS Dinero Primero Studios is here on the
introduction.
podcast.
No cap. I like to hear that. I'm glad to be here. Excellent podcast. Thank you guys for having me. No cap.
Yes, sir, man. How are you doing today, man?
I cannot complain, man. I haven't got much sleep, but when do we ever sleep, right?
Right. Never. Not in this lifestyle. Not in this lifestyle. Can't do it, man. Well, man, thank you for joining on the podcast today. I know that we've been scheduling this for a minute. So I'm glad that we finally got it out. And I'm glad because people who are watching this podcast and listening to this podcast right now have, of course, been a part of my Stefon's Vlogs, the past YouTube channel, and they've seen you on the channel before. And I'm excited that I finally got you as an interview on here because I've been wanting to do this interview for a minute. So
I'm excited too, man. I've never really done anything like this. I'm not a big talker, so for people to be able to access a piece of content where they're like, damn, I could listen to this motherfucker talk for 20 minutes.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people definitely want to hear your like opinions and also just your like thought process and how you may have like grown into who you are now. So I think that's like super important that we kind of delve into that for your fans and my fans and everybody who just happens to stumble upon this podcast. So that's what's up, man.
Glad it's gonna be crazy looking back at this in a few years. Like,
oh man, gonna be wild, super wild.
Hopefully, I come back for another interview straight up.
Of course.
By that time, gonna be fine.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. So today on this podcast, what we're gonna be talking about is the topic of No Sweat Pimp. Now, a lot of people who know STEFON WHITAKER and know SW Films know that No Sweat Pimp is my album. And some people also might know that you, Dawry, were the one that came up with the title unintentionally.
Hey, shit, you know,
so we're not going to be talking necessarily about the album. We might delve a little bit into that, but more of just what the actual meaning of No Sweat Pimp means. But before we delve into that main topic, we're going to get to know Dawry some more, and then we're going to delve on that final topic. My man's
nah, my brother got a fucking ball. He shouldn't be eating that shit. Damn well he shouldn't be eating that.
With the fresh fit on though, we see with the blue, he trying to get the waves right.
See the dewy, you see me?
All right, man. But yeah, so we're gonna get to know more about Dawry and all that stuff before we get into this actual the main topic of the podcast. But first off, let everyone know what you do, who you are, in a very brief kind of way, but explain who you are, the type of work you do, which obviously people who know me and know and have also kind of delved into your stuff know that you are a filmmaker, but you're more than that. You're like a trendsetter. So go ahead and kind of talk more about who Dawry is.
And it's crazy because I think when people ask you that type of thing, like, so what do you do? The answer constantly changes, but you as an individual are constantly figuring out a way to lay this shit out as easy for people to understand. Like when people come to me these days and they're like, so how do we work? Like, what is it that you do? I want a video. My answer is so formulaic. It sounds like I've said it 1,000 times because I really have, what I find myself doing is really sitting down with clients and selling them on the idea that I have an interesting way to push their business, their campaign, their whatever it may be in a nice fashion. That's really what I offer. I've been trying to step back from making videos, little short pieces. I've been stepping away from a lot of clients just to tackle a lot more personal projects so I can uh, dive more so into what it is I think Dinero Primero Studios should be,
Yeah.
and that's really what it is. Like when I look at the people that I aspire to be like, what they do is that they're a creative ad agency. It's not just them making videos. And I'd like to be able to get to the point soon where that is all that we do. We just sell ideas, sell packages to these people, because it's it's a big difference between you having a guy that makes you a video and, hey, here's a link, it costs you this and that, versus me sending you a deliverables folder and me consecutively like busting this shit down with you. Like me caring for an artist's image as much as I care for my own shit is a lot different than me waiting for you to send me some money so we can, flip it around.
Yeah.
But as far as what I do, I'm the man, straight up, no cap. I've been thinking about this shit sometimes, because it's like I'll be thinking about it like even this morning. It's like, damn, it's not easy being Enedawry Santana,
Yeah.
but shit, I'm very glad to be in this body, so shit, And
Man, that's great.
I be making a lot of videos, but like I said, I step back a lot so I can furthermore tackle these companies and figure out what their problem is and meet them with a budget and see where we can meet. Don't get me wrong, I make a lot of music videos personally, like but that falls back into the personal project aspect of it. Like these days I really like to work on things that I want to work on. So you might not see me work on a lot of projects, but everything that I'm pushing out, for whatever reason, me and that content have some sort of relationship, or me and that person have built that type of relationship where we could do something like that.
Absolutely, man. That's great. First off, the key word is I'm the man. I'm the man. That's what it's all about here on the interview, man. Is I want people to speak to their excellence, and I love that. So that's really, really dope. With all of that being said, then how did you get into being in this position? Like what made you to do this career path? Like what made you say, hey, I want to be a filmmaker?
I've never really looked at the space as like, damn, I want to make movies. Of course, at the end of the day, I'd like to be able to make episodic, like Dexter, things like that are really interesting to me, at least for the short term, because I mean, it's a TV show. It's only the life of it really. Most shows don't last more than a season, so
Yeah.
try to get yourself around a good group of people and grow from there. But that's really where it stems from. Dinero Primero Studios, money for studios. There's 1,000 different ways to make this money, and videos and merchandise, which we're very fortunate to have been on our second season. This last June 16th, we dropped our second collection, and then we did a collection before that in October, and we're doing very well. We feel very excited to move forward with future releases, and I've already been working on mock-ups. Like that's a whole different side of this thing. So you could tell how vague it sounds, but at the end of the day, you just have to step back and figure out what it is your client needs, because they don't need much, man. You just gotta really listen to your clients.
Yeah, that's what's up. I mean, well, what kind of like origin? Because I mean, we both went to Full Sail University. Shout out. We both met at Full Sail, and like, what kind of pushed you? And I remember you told me this before, probably, obviously, but like, I fucking forget. What pushed you to actually say, I want to be like, to take it to that level, to go to film school, to go through all them fucking ridiculous classes that we went through in the 2 years? Like, what pushed you to want to do that? Like, was
I
there?
think a lot of it is a fear of the unknown. Like I think in America, we live in a society where a piece of paper is valued very heavily, and that's all you know when you're in the school system. Is like, all right, well, let me go to school so I can pay some more money so I can continue going to school and I can get a job. And I think if someone were to tell me way earlier on, you don't need a degree to do what it is you do, I wouldn't say I wouldn't have gone to college. I very well would have gone to college, because it's an experience in itself, social networking, um, the strenuous schedule of what it is that we went through. It's things that you can't trade up on. Like when I tell people that I shoot movies or I shoot music videos, they're comfortable with just having gone to work and back. Like they can't see farther than that. So what really pushed me to move forward with this entertainment space I wouldn't even say it's just the ability to make my own schedule, but the way I look at DPS, Dinero Primero Studios, is, I mean, let me make this money. A lot of people say money's not going to make you happy, but if I could put money in the pockets of those people that make me happy, that's going to make me over the moon, you know. So I don't think too much about it, like the pain that I'm going through. But if my kids can get fucking Iron Man suits, you gotta make that shit happen. It's not gonna happen overnight, you know.
I love that. If I can put money in the pockets of people who make me happy, then I love that. That's really cool. That's really cool. I think that's an understatement too, man. It's crazy because it's just like, I think as I've kind of gone through this film shit, it's like, yeah, my passion has always been the same. It always grows, and I feel like the purpose has always been the same. We're gonna delve a lot into purpose too, but I like that as far as just like kind of the fear of the unknown, because I mean, film was like, that was kind of like what it was for me going to Full Sail. Like before I went to Full Sail, I almost committed to fucking being a zoologist or a zookeeper or some shit, honestly.
Imagine that.
Imagine that, bro. I would have been fucked up. But like
Whitaker. Outback.
Man, like it's crazy. So, but film was always a passion. Like I was always writing stories, shooting like these dumbass little prank videos with these cameras that I had and like all that kind of stuff. So it all kind of built up. But we all kind of stray away from that sometimes. Like at first I thought football was going to be something for me or just sports in general. But it's like, nah, you dive into that, So one thing that I want to talk about on the podcast is just how we specifically met. So once again, we went to Full Sail University, and we were in a class. I forget the class, whatever that first class was at Full Sail, but it was me. It was you. Well, actually, not. At first, it was just me, Corey. You remember Corey, Nick, Jesse, and it was just them. And I remember, yeah, man, the old group. Holy shit! I remember.
Shout out Jesse, man.
Yes.
That's crazy. Shout out all them boys, for real.
Shout out all the guys. And like we were I remember I didn't have a car at the time because like my bike had gotten stolen, on campus.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, during the orientation, man. So I didn't have
what an introduction to Florida. What the fuck?
Yeah, man. Florida, yeah, that's when I knew Florida was really fucking wild and crazy.
My bike on the
yeah, but like but yeah, so like I remember Corey, and then they offered to like take me home and shit. And I was all right, cool. So they took me home, boom. And then I remember you got introduced into it. I forget when, but like maybe when we had our first little thing that we had to actually like film. If you remember, it was like me, you, Nick, Corey, and I think Jesse too. We had to film something. And we all got together.
What was it that we had filmed? Man, I'm trying to remember that project because it wasn't when we started doing the pantyhose boys.
Yeah,
that was its own thing. That was crazy.
That was his own thing, but that shit was hilarious. But yeah, we started filming some shit, and then I remember you took me home one time. I think we were at your apartment or some shit back when it was like when you were like kind of close to like UCF, University of Central.
I think we was at Four Rivers or somewhere. No, we went to Zaxby's in that area.
Right. Yeah. You're right.
Straight up. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think you had to eat in Zaxby's until that point.
Yeah, never, because they never had that shit in Indiana. It was always just just like the southern shit. But you took me home, and I remember we started talking about Kanye West. We started talking about hella music and shit. And from there, it just like it really kind of spawned like a real kind of genuine friendship, especially over the music. And then I think we talked about a little bit different films and shit and music videos and all that kind of stuff. But then the moment where it really, I think where the friendship really got solidified, if you know the moment I'm about to bring up, when we wrestled each other.
Okay, yo, let me tell this story. I think we was in class, and STEFON was telling me he wrestled, and I was like, yeah, I've been to wrestling practice with my brother a few times. He's like, all right, shit, we'll look good at then. All right, bet, no doubt. And I don't even think it was later that night. I think it was later that week. And I had told you guys to come through to a party at the quad.
Yeah.
And you pulled up to the crib, and we hadn't even like, I got to the party, I was already chilling and shit, and then y'all came through, and I was like, what's up? And then STEFON was like, yo, y'all trying to run it? I look left, I look right. I was like, yeah, I mean, sure, why not? Like, all right. Bro, we go to my front yard, like literally down the street. All right, let's get started. And we have Corey, Nick, and Chris just watching.
Brandon, the white.
And it kind of reminds me of that fucking. I don't know if you ever played Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, but it's like you're in a circle. It's kind of like you're sumo wrestling almost. You feel me? So me and STEFON are sumo wrestling at this point. And every time I try to do something, STEFON goes from behind and he goes like this, and then he goes like that, and he flips me. I'm like, all right, damn, we got to get back in it. Go right back in it.
Oh shit!
Moves behind again, grips me, throws me again. I'm like, damn, man, this shit is tough, but can't give up. And I remember continuing to go to bat. Like you trying to get it, and then you get sore. I mean, I got fucking cross stains on me and shit. But at the same time, sometimes you just want to like go at it, but not because you have any sort of like animosity built towards anybody.
Yeah.
But because like you have so much respect for somebody, you could really do that. I fight with my brothers, you know.
Yeah.
So that's really like that.
And yeah. It was crazy, man, because I think if I remember right too, the one essential part I think that we're missing a lot is that our group, we used to roast the fuck out of each other all the time. Like, mind you, right?
Fucking time.
We used to roast each other all the time. Now let me say this, right? This is a real thing. Like, me coming from Indiana, and I had a lot of white friends, right? Like, roasting, like when we roast each other, you know, when white dudes roast each other, it'd be on some really weird, wild shit, like, you know, just some stupid
ass. Your sister type shit.
Like some funny, wild shit like that. But then when you got a group of like minorities, black, like I was like the one black dude, you're Dominican, so you black too, basically. And we got Corey, Corey, Jesse, and Nick. They were like Puerto Rican, I think, or one of them was Dominican too, I think. I don't know. I think most of them was Puerto Rican. But when we all got around each other, bro, it was a different kind of roast. So I ain't gonna lie, man. Those type of roasts were the ones I was only like privy to when I was like around cousins and shit. I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers really roasting the shit out of me. So I'm like, all right, yeah. I'm like, nah. I'm like, okay. So like my thing was, you know, I came came off playing football and rugby and all that kind of stuff. So like, and I worked out and everything. I was like, all right, fuck it. All this roasting shit, let's wrestle each other. You know, like, you know how dudes do it. They'd be like, oh, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna beat your ass type shit, whatever. So we wrestled each other. And I think that was a moment of, like you said, true respect, man, because it was just like, just the fact that we did that right outside your apartment in front of all, like, it wasn't like in front of people. It was some shit, man. And I think that was like one of those moments where it's like, nah, really got each other's respect in that moment, because it was kind of like a moment of humility for the both of us. And I feel like humility is such a huge thing that I've been like kind of privy to a lot in my ever since film school. So I thought that was a really dope moment. And there's a lot of other really crazy and dope moments too that we have, but man, that is just one of the moments that I'll never forget, honestly. From
that was pretty early on too. Like, I don't even think we had taken our prerequisites. Like, for us to have had to take those fucking bullshit ass classes in film.
Yeah.
Over it, but still, I feel like having gone to Full Sail, you have built quite a network around yourself, depending on what it is that you really focus on. And I still work with people that I went to school with today, you know, and I graduated 2016.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, like when people ask about like what is it, and like you learned all this shit in school, hell no, I did not learn this shit in school. School is not teaching you how to edit, none of that shit. Like, you have to really have the ambition for this, because you could have a 4.0 GPA, but you could have never done anything for yourself.
Right, man, that's true. I mean, I think that makes me want to delve into the topic of Full Sail kind of just briefly, because, you know, we were in the same, you know, Full Sail's classes and systems is all set up kind of weird, right? So it's like an accelerated program for the film program, and it was like every month there was like a group of classes, and me and you were in the class for a while, but then I think you took a month off or something, and then you were class behind, a month behind me or something like that. So then I kind of had to find a whole new group of people, because I'm like, fuck, man, DAWRY ain't here, you know. And of course that DAWRY, I was like, that introduced people like, you know, Nick Lamberson, shout out Nick, and Deshaun, Trevor, Ty, all those folks. But yeah, but then we, you know, me and you still kept in touch and everything. Then, you know, I think I kind of fell off friends with like Corey, Nick, and Jesse and them, and then it was, you know, really just like hitting you up and see what the hell you were doing sometimes. So for you though, with Full Sail, kind of looking back at it, we've been out of school, college now for like 5 years, which is kind of fucking So like, do you think that like like from where you're at now, do you kind of accredit a little bit of some of that knowledge and a little bit of some of your expertise to like having to go to film school? Like, do you think you could have been at as skilled as you are without film school, without Full Sail?
Not that I couldn't be as skilled, but to say that I wouldn't be thankful for the advance, what I learned in, because like how you said, I had to take a month off. I had to take several months off just so I could take up opportunities outside of school and shit. And that's what I get at when I mean, like, you could put all you have into school, or you could stay up late nights and go film shows like fucking Travis Scott. And that's what really, you remember me and Freddie, that's all we really did going to school and shit, just trying to figure out how to do some shit for ourselves. Because me trying to be the writer or director of a project at Full Sail, that's cool, congrats, but like to be able to build build an income off what you do is the craziest thing in the world, because nobody could tell you on anything. I work at Amazon right now, and when people try to tell me to do this and that, I'll be like, motherfucker, I can go home and edit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not really that interested in this shit, So
Yeah.
not to say there aren't other opportunities for you. There aren't other people trying to push that rock for you. But betting on yourself 10 times out of 10, you're gonna knock that shit out of the park. We're like believing in yourself. And I think to say Full Sail gave me when I took classes that gave me the scientific knowledge behind what it is people feel and understand when they're watching any particular scene, wherever they may be, for it to be something as simple as like you're watching a clip at 60 frames per second, and that might be able to make you nauseous after having watched that for quite some time, compared to you watching something at 23.9. Like, that's not some shit that you just fucking find out making music videos on the street, And that knowledge may not seem important to other people, but when I run up to people and I tell them how excited I am for this fucking light foil, and they have no idea what it is, it's that type of difference. Is like, you see where people where people stand at. Exactly. And I feel like I'm so interested in the understanding of so many things aside from what I do right now, So that, I'll say it 1,000 times, bro, that BTS shit, like, to be able to make this money off videos, off merch, off whatever it is that I see fit to do with my time. So yeah, for real.
For sure, man. And I feel the same way. I feel like, I'm grateful to have gone to film school, because I think what I'm mostly grateful about is that, like, I went for the shit and I made it happen. You know what I mean? And like, because I remember right before I went to film school, I was letting people know. Like, I remember the way I came to Full Sail was actually, I was looking at a school, and back when I was wanting to be a zookeeper and shit, I was looking at a school that had yeah, literally, there was a school in Florida. I forget where in Florida, but it had a zoo on its campus. And it, like, zoology was like a big like degree there. So I was like, all right, maybe I want to go there. I don't know why the fuck I was looking this deeply into that shit, but like, I was looking in that area, and Full Sail popped up, and Full Sail's in Florida. So I went and signed up for the shit. I kind of realized at a certain point, like, you know what? Nah, I don't want to do this zoo shit. Like, film has always been an interest to me, but like, no one was there to remind me that film was my passion. I had to remind myself, like, love my mom and dad, but I mean, I think they always seen it, but they didn't like maybe like hone in on it and really pay attention until I told them I want to go to Full Sail. So I remember, honestly, Transformers. The series sucks, but like the very first Transformers movie, it's kind of inspired me to, like, you know what, I kind of want to go to school for this, and I kind of wanted to go to school for visual effects at first. But then when I looked up Full Sail, I looked at some of their kind of branding and commercials and just seeing what they did. I'm like, man, I want to be on set. I want to be a director. I said, I've always kind of been into this. I've always been into like teaching and coaching and mentoring. That's what directing really is. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna actually go to school for some shit that in the back of my mind has always fucking been there. And yeah, man, what made me happy about it is I said I was gonna do it. I did it. I got a scholarship that cut my shit in half. Still need to pay it off, but I got the scholarship. And I went in there. And also, a lot of my friends at the time hated on me for some reason for going to Full Sail because it wasn't a university, you know what I mean? And I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. So, but still, regardless, like I'm very like happy I did it. The only thing that I will say that I didn't like about Full Sail is that I never got to build up any like close relationships with like the staff or teachers there at school, because there's a lot of people that we went to school with, man, who I don't want to like hate on nobody, because hopefully everybody's doing what the fuck they wanted to do in school or whatever, but a lot of people was the teacher's pets. A lot of people like to kiss ass. I did not like to do that, especially because no one really liked my group of people. No one liked me, Deshaun, Trevor, and Ty. It's like, oh, y'all group of all you guys are a group of different cultures. Y'all don't belong together. Y'all are fucked up. That's kind of just how I kind of felt. You know what I mean? And I've always felt like I've been looked at as the underdog, even still with all the dope shit that I've done. But like at the same time, I was like, yeah, I don't want to be that person. So I never built up any close relationship with any teachers or anything in Full Sail at all. I just had to get it my fucking self, and that kind of just shows with me having to go back to Indiana and do that. So I mean, for you, right? Did you have any like did you have any like good resources from Full Sail that you could use afterwards, like after college?
Yeah, most definitely. I like, bro, to this day, I'm still working with those people that I had graduated with or was in their class at one point or another. And wow, it's raining, kind of Florida weather. It's weird.
Florida
weather. But when you went over, like, there are teacher types that really like, some teachers like more people more than others. Like,
yeah,
I'm not really the most confrontational person, so I can understand why somebody fucking would walk up to me and be like, "Here's an opportunity," because shit, I'll knock that shit out the park, And when I see that shit happen, even to this day, you can't get mad at it. When somebody doesn't want you to be on their team, that's completely fine. My team is still winning. That's how I think about it. Like, when I tell you, people at Amazon, like where I work at, is they really be trying to sell you on some shit. They be trying to, hey man, work a little harder, stay a little longer. You could fucking, I don't know, make an extra 25 cents. My nigga, no, I'm gonna fucking go make a video and I'm gonna go make that, whatever it is I need to make. And for me to be able to do that these days, it brings me a lot of peace, because I used to be kind of anxious about this shit. Don't get me wrong, I making films in 2018 and 2019, I make as much as I do at Amazon. But for me to not have to worry about when that is coming, it brings great peace to you, and to be able to do both of them at the same time, and then figure out what it is that you want to do with your finances. Like, just take a minute to really think about this shit, because you could spend this shit really quick, or you could take like incremental changes so you can make a big difference in the future, So that's why I've been taking, DPS is the knowledge as well, So to be able to know what you want to do with your money when you have it is very important. And I have a lot of things that I want to do with the money, So not even the merch aside, like, there's a lot of things that need to be funded in order for us to continue doing what we want to do. And we don't always want to have to pay for that shit. We want to be able to find producers that are as interested as pushing us as we are, So to be able to build that catalog and be able to build that network that we graduated from Full Sail with, it stands the test of time for you to not have to be like, damn, this is my competition. Because if we're building a monopoly, like, it's forever and always. Like, when I tell you, like, it's like this, bro, that's life. You feel me? That's not going to be any different tomorrow, So I have definitely been able to keep in touch with those people from Full Sail that, like, they really tap in and they support. And I do my best to support those that I feel are really trying to make that change for themselves. I'm very happy to see people like my boy Freddie, people like yourself, STEFON. Like, there's a lot of people going crazy that I had graduated with. And it's crazy when like, you're interviewing me, right? But you have crazy shit on the way, like incredibly crazy shit on the way. And I feel good about my shit, but I'll be like, damn, all right, so I'm trying to get on some big projects, man. Cause like, what I do is like I said, so formulaic. I've grown so accustomed to being able to flip this shit so quick. I'm not trying to go with the back and forth. And to be able to have shit placed like that on set, yeah, it takes time for your finances to hit where they have to hit. But once you're solidified, I mean, it's not even worrying about when the money's coming in or when the next gig is coming in. It's how we talk about the time, like, your availability is key.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I mean, it's crazy, right? Like, I think to kind of build off that point, right? Like, we're all doing amazing, dope shit. Like, I've done a lot of really, really, really dope shit in the past. I mean, I've been doing this shit now. I would say as soon as I graduated from Full Sail, and I'm sure you would say the same thing, too. Like when we graduated from Full Sail, that's when our professional like shit started. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at least that's what I would say for myself. Like so 5 years professionally doing it. The thing is though, is like I look at different spectrums of shit. Like I live in California now and I've worked on a lot of really, really big ass dope shit. And I've met a lot of really
Mhm.
people's experiences that I'd never thought in my life that I would like, experience. But the thing is I also look at like my main priority, which is SW Films, my production company. And I look at it and I'm like, all right, I'm not everywhere where I want to be with that. Once I kind of feel like I'm in positions to where SW Films is at a height, then that's kind of when I start to feel a little bit better. Like me being on projects is like a second AD. I've been doing that a lot recently, and then just even being a PA on just like really big ass shoots is amazing. And it's still like a very privileged experience. But at the same time, it's like, damn, my main priority, I really want to get off top. Like, I love what you've been doing with DPS, just with like actually building, instead of just being like a production company, you're like really building a brand and like trend setting and just like doing stuff with clothing and just also kind of like being almost a just being like a real kind of like, I mean, I guess trend setting is the main thing. It's just like specifically like you have people that are not just there for the video. Some people are there because it's a fucking vibe. I mean, you got, matter of fact, show you, like, where is the shit, man? I put this on my hard drive for the people watching on the damn
Very
yes, sir.
clean. Yes, sir. DPS Demons. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So it's just like that is like a big thing. It's a trendsetter. So I want to get to that, man. Like now that we've kind of delved into where we've gotten heard about you graduating from college, all this kind of stuff. When did you decide to make Dinero Primero Studios? Because I don't did you like, for me, SW Films was not even a thing until, I mean, it was kind of a thing in my mind in school, but I didn't get it started until 2017. So like when did you decide to do DPS?
I think the housing for DPS has been set in stone for quite some time now. Because like I have a trophy in my house for best editor in 2014 when I was in fucking class, and at that point I had already been making music videos. So it was just trying to find out what it was called, and it's been called 1,000 different things. So like it was called the Enedawry Studios one day when we were like driving back from who knows where, and then I think the first video that I had put the DPS tag on in the back was probably like a Kasky show that I shot at Venue 7A or something like that at that time, because I really got really big into the live show scene like early 2015. You know, I started really going crazy, and to be able to build a network off that and talk to individuals that are still very well rounded in the industry, it's allowed me to develop quite the catalog, because now not only do I have music videos, I have live show performances that are, I won't even say no names, I don't like name dropping, uh
Nah, bro,
biggest
do it.
festivals
Do
in the world, you know, and
it. Name drop, bro. Like fuck it. Like I've name dropped. I haven't name dropped nothing yet. Mainly because of NDA shit.
nah, it's like to for me to be able to film whoever the fuck I wanted down the street from where I live, and never, to this day I've never paid to film a show, but look at all the live shows that I filmed. It was crazy, you know. And I'm not really one to stand in the club. I'll be asking myself why the fuck I'm fucking standing here, even when I'm filming these shows. So I like to get in, get out. That's really it to me. I have a lot more fun putting this shit together, but I have to. That's not always right. I have to learn to be more present sometimes, and that's what I'm coming to understand. You know.
Yeah, no, we're definitely gonna delve into just like social media presence and just also just being around, being like around different crowds and groups just to like kind of further certain shit. I'm starting to kind of realize that myself too. But I mean, okay, with DPS being, well, like being created like right after college, I guess what first off, what did the name bring? Like how did you come up with the name? And also who is a part of DPS? Because I know there's a lot of, it kind of feels like a collective. I think that was the word I was trying to say earlier. A
Mm-hmm.
collective of a lot of really dope, amazing artists who do a lot of different shit. Like, tell us about the name. What does that mean? And then the people that you kind of brought on or has come along into the group.
Well, I talk about it a lot. If you give me a second, I'll be right back. Because we talk about the merch, but I just want to show you some cool shit. If you want to chop this bit up just for a couple of seconds.
Sure. We will be back momentarily.
Okay. Okay. So, like I was saying, the merchandise that I make is very new to me even. So I'm learning as I go. And what I'm about to show you isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but for me to be able to do this whenever I want to is the type of expression that I feel I needed to feel passionate about what it is that we do. Because you say that you're very passionate about film, and I wish I cared enough about something so I can get other people on board. And I think that's what DPS has become to a lot of people. To me, it's not a collective. It's definitely a business. But it's more so of a housing. You know, like it's what you want it to be. It's what you put into it. It's not what you want to reap. You know.
Yeah.
Straight up, it's what you sow.
That's what's
so.
up.
I forgot. But let me show you this.
Okay, dope. DPS.
Just saying, man. So for me to be able to flip this shit 1,000 different ways,
yeah,
it means the most to me. So for me to be able to be attached to something like that, crazy. And it's not even entirely about my fault. It's raining. My dog out here fucking playing in the rain. It's not entirely about you having to do this shit all the time. Like, let me just drop every fucking day. I think if you really take your time with structuring the foundation of this, and for me to be able to go wherever it is that I want to go and mix match my DPS, my drip, like it's the most comfortable feeling. And even more so when people are like, damn, can I buy that? Yes. DineroPrimero.com type shit, you know. And for those that don't know, Dinero Primero just means money first, and Money First Studios, you know. Make sure you have that down deposit ready, you know.
Hey, that's some hot shit. Pop that shit. Okay, he said money first. Make sure to have the down deposit. Beautiful. I love that shit, man. Like what you've
and there's a lot of ways I love this shit because when I tell you how fun these commercials have become, and that's really what I have found myself being passionate about, is having these ideas in my head. Like, damn, I'd love to be able to do this with my niggas, and how are we gonna do that? You know, and what are we gonna do that with? And those are cool questions to ask yourself versus like, damn, I got to get these revisions for this motherfucker. I don't even like. And
oh, we're gonna talk about music videos, and you kind of first off, I want to say, man, I'm very happy and just proud of what you have built, and it's gonna be crazy to see what it becomes in like the next 5 to 10 years. Like, there's so much more possibilities that you got going on. When it comes to just like the branding, right? Like you showed me the hat. Obviously, the we have the crazy. Is this like the main like icon logo here for the people watching on YouTube?
But that's what I mean, bro. That's what I mean. There's like, I have a lot of logos, man. My boy Christian Hernandez. Shout out to my brother. You remember Christian, right?
Yeah. Shout out Christian.
My man literally just got engaged yesterday.
Oh shit!
Shout out my brother. Congratulations to my G. I really couldn't do this shit without him. For you to be able to, like I said, bro, for you to be able to find someone that sees what they feel like. It's not easy for me to believe in something so much as you do. You know, like when people come up to me and they're like, here's my idea. Why don't you want to shoot it? I don't believe in what you're trying to tell me. You know, I do this a lot. I really sit down and tell this shit to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So for me to not have to tell this to my boy Christian, and then to want to be able to illustrate, and he illustrates everything for DPS, I'll figure out how we're gonna place it. We'll go back and forth about this shit all day, and we'll do what we have to do with it, and we go crazy. And the commercials, man, I'm doing what I can right now, but if I could do what I wanted to do, that's what we plan for. You know, it's trying to meet yourself in the middle. It's a lot of compromise in what we do.
Yeah, so definitely speak to more about how like just the people that are part of DPS, because
most definitely.
like one thing
my boy
before you go, one thing that I've noticed about just like DPS in general, right? And one thing I've just noticed about Florida, like the hip hop scene and that, like there's kind of like a culture when it comes to like the Florida, I'll say urban instead of just throwing hip hop in there, but more of an urban like Florida scene. There's definitely like a certain look and feel and vibe. Like honestly, like when I listen to like Triple X, XXX Tentacion, and like Ski Mask and fucking Kodak and certain shit, like I feel like there's certain like graphically, like brand wise, it kind of feels very similar with Florida artists in the Florida scene. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
you like
Okay.
you were born in the DR, right? Or are you born in Florida?
I was actually born in. People don't know this, so if you want to bleep this part out, I was born in Haverhill, Massachusetts. You know, if you let these people
All
know, I
right.
was born in Boston type shit. You feel me?
I
I don't want
forgot. Yeah, I forgot you was
fucking
in
hometown
Boston.
type of shit. Yeah, and started spinning the block and shit.
Yeah, but okay,
and
so but yeah, but like there's like a really like certain kind of look with DPS that feels like Florida, you know what I'm saying? But still international in a sense. So I guess kind of speak to that, man. Like I don't know if all of your guys all live in Florida or all from Florida, but like speak to all the people that is a part of DPS.
I mean, it's the motherfucking man right here, yourself, Enedawry Santana. But sometimes, bro, when I look at this shit, like how I was saying, it's the housing. Like I consider you a part of DPS. You know, there's a lot of people that have gotten me as far as I came today. You know, so I have to pay homage to all that shit. So when I say STEFON WHITAKER, when I say Freddie Villamizar Nieves, he's gonna be on my ass for that here shortly, bro. Straight up. And John Sebastian, Nassim Jabber, San Rolando, DPS Fabian.
Fabian, shout out
Like,
to Fabian, man.
that boy, he's doing definitely what he can to try to get in here and go crazy. And that's the type of opportunities you want to set up for everybody, because a lot of people want to work with you, but a lot of people don't care to pay what it is you're asking. So for me to be able to pass work down to my cousin, and keep it in the family, and that shit is very useful to him to be able to have that type of knowledge at his age. If I had someone like myself trying to guide me and put me on the right path back then, come on, man. Like that shit.
That's
Yes, sir.
great.
Been lovely.
One thing that I've noticed with you too, man, is like you definitely keep a nice clique of people around you, and that people that are just, like you said, people it's a housing. So like the craziest thing to me is right is those a lot of those people, right? You probably say is probably like they're close in proximity to you, and there's a little bit more conversation that maybe had with them compared to like someone who may be obviously out of state or some shit. I would say for myself, right? Like I'm the only person in SW Films. I don't have anyone else that like handles a lot of shit. Sometimes it's like how the film world is. Sometimes we just bring on certain people. I might have a DP or a producer or a key grip or a gaffer just work on one of the productions. But I haven't had like a straight up like collective of people that like I'm like, okay, these are the people I fuck with a lot, and here's the type of work that we all do together in a like proximities situation. Of course, there's like my homies that are here in California that I work with, but I feel like we all kind of have our own brands and shit that we're doing. We all help each other out, but I don't have like a close circuit of people that I'm like we talk not just about working and shit, but just a little bit more about the life shit, all that kind of
Well,
stuff.
let me say this, bro, because I hear exactly where you're coming from. I don't even think everybody likes me, but I don't think it's necessarily about liking anybody. I think it's about like seeing what potential you could build off each other and seeing if your work ethic is matchable. If I feel like you could bring something to the table in a capacity that like we could genuinely say that like this is a solid investment in our time, then we gonna rock with you. And to touch back on like who's in DPS, just in case I didn't catch that, because I did not say that Christian Hernandez was in DPS. I did say he was my illustrator, but that boy DPS for life. And
yeah, man. I mean, it's just I think it's just that like I've also I'm still new to the Bay. I'm still new to California.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here for almost two years now, and like the thing is, when I was in Indiana, I definitely had that kind of, but still not much. I had it, but it was more in like a collective sense. Like I was working with a lot of rappers who I would consider really close, and like we always did a lot of shit together, and other people like that, photographers or whatever. But as soon as I moved, or as soon as, kind of time progressed, a lot of people dropped off in doing what they wanted to do, their passions and shit. And then at the end of the day, I was just left with myself. And I feel like that's how it's always kind of been. But we still moving out here, and eventually I think eventually that I'll be able to have kind of that kind of situation where there's a housing of people who are part of SW Films and can help build this shit up even bigger and better. But back to the projects that you're doing, right? So you mainly do a lot of music videos, which are all fucking amazing. I would agree with Sophie is right. The editing is off the chain. But I know it's not always just you editing it, right? Sometimes other people will edit or direct it or shoot it, right? Or is mainly you?
I mean, yeah, I shoot and edit everything for the most part. If there's a project that was shot by somebody else, I make it noted. Most recently, I had Fabian shoot every commercial besides the one I was in Dominican Republic for.
Yeah.
And it's not that it doesn't take a lot for me to get what it is I need, but for me to be able to tell my two cousins shot my commercial in Dominican Republic.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy, So like, it's about what you need for the project. It's about, like, I don't just go into it blindly. I don't always get the results that I may have gotten, but to be able to capture this shit, to be able to document this shit in any capacity, it's worth watching,
Yeah, I mean, so with that, right? Like, you do a lot of the music videos, and that means that you have to deal with a lot of rappers, right?
What?
Man, I like, this is something I've always wanted to talk to you about, because I have dealt with, especially in this recent year or so, I've kind of dealt with some ridiculous ass artists. I don't even call them artists, just rappers and musicians, that I've had to deal with, who just sometimes are just not all that good to work with. You know what I mean? Like, we may have created some dope shit, but the build up to it was not enjoyable. For you, who deals with rappers a lot, like, how do you manage some of these different personalities and attitudes? Because, man, I can imagine that you had to go through some shit dealing with some of these.
I mean, we're still going through shit, but that's what I've been getting at this whole time. And I'll touch on some stories where, like, I've had to deal with some not so great clients. And for me to be able to make DPS, the brand, more than life, more than just somebody who's making a video, it brings a lot more to the table, and I don't want to have to deal with this artist who thinks he's the artist. I pull up to the shoots, and the way I be looking, people be looking like, is this the artist?
Yeah.
Believe it. Straight up. That's definitely my video. So I'm knocking this shit out. Like, but yeah, I had a lot of experience with just people who may not be as understanding or have gone through the process as much time as you and I have. You've caught a rhythm with this shit. You know exactly how to lay this shit out for people. This is the first time, like they're a little new to this, and they don't necessarily have a problem with the content you're giving them, but the way they portray themselves on camera, they may look at it like, oh man, I don't like the way I look. I just paid this motherfucker this and that much amount of money, and now I look like an idiot. It's not entirely about the piece of work we're bringing you. You could have any type of content, but it's the way you present yourself and how you present that work. You have to be able to know your shit's hot with that confidence. And a lot of these people, they'll get. I've had plenty of projects where I get paid for the video, the video is ready to be posted, and the client doesn't even want to make it public because I don't really like the way I look. My fit, like, people are
wow,
kind of they're not really who they say they are. Like, I know my shit's hot. Maybe it didn't come together the way they thought it would, but for people not to be able to have that conversation, and a lot of these rappers are very dry. I like to be able to have that quick feedback with my clients and whoever it is trying to reach out to me, because I think more than anything, people just want information. It's not necessarily about like, let me tell this man this shit. It's like, all right, this is what you needed to know. All right, bet this talks it, And if for you to be able to point people in the right direction faster than others, it saves people a lot of time, and they know where to get work in the future. So don't sell yourself short, because a lot of these artists will tell you, like any other place you might work at, they'll tell you a lot of dreams, but betting on yourself, 10 out of 10. I tell people that all day.
It's crazy, man, because I'll say this from a lot of the rappers in like that I've seen you shoot videos for, and maybe this just be me just assuming, but a lot of their music, right? Some of their music and they talk about, I'll be thinking like, okay, these dudes are probably arrogant or ignorant people, just in some of the way they act. So I'm just thinking like, damn, having to deal, and most rappers are like that, but I've dealt with some rappers before who aren't outwardly ignorant. Like you've met my cousin John, who is like, I don't know if he's a fucking rapper or not at all anymore. I have no fucking clue. The thing is dealing with people like that who have all these personalities, like how you talked about, they're new to this, right? Like, so I just released a music video for this R&B singer Dion Jada. Shout out to her, she's incredible. That was her very first music video, and
I've seen that. Hell yeah. Okay.
yeah, she did an awesome job, and that was a really fun production. And that was her first video. And there, when it's there, what I've been doing a lot recently in the past few years, not in the past few years, but in the past year, I guess, year or so, I've been dealing with people who it's their very first music video. So they don't really know what the hell they want. They don't know how to go about their branding. Obviously, branding takes a long time, but they also just don't know. They don't know specifically the process of it, because every different person, I'm sure the way that you, like how you speak to your clients and how you go through your productions, is also different from how I do it, or how like Freddie might do it, or how someone else might do it. So like sometimes we always got to build them up to speed to get shit right. And when I'm working with new people, I always try to be as patient as possible and just try to explain as much as possible. But then I got to realize, like, okay, I'm gonna have to explain this shit again and again and again until it finally sticks somehow. But I've definitely dealt with some clients where they're just like, I remember one time, and this is like a lot of the times is people who I haven't even worked with, but I remember one dude, and I guess this could be kind of understandable. One dude came up to me and said, "Hey man, have you shot any like turn up, like lit music videos?" And I'm like,
I see those. I think I shot a few turn up videos.
yeah, I was just like, I'm thinking to myself, because like honestly, I get what he was saying, right? He's like, do you shoot a lot of shit that fucking what's his name? Cole Bennett be shooting? Is that the kind of style that you're shooting?
Yeah.
And honestly, like shout out to Cole Bennett, but I don't edit like that. I don't shoot like that. So, you know what I mean? And mainly because of the budget wise, but also I'm not like the biggest. I do love Lyrical Lemonade, don't get me wrong, but I'm not the biggest fan of like all of his videos. But like I'm like, nah, I don't really have shit like that. Like I shoot a lot of shit that's kind of like sometimes story or plot line based. I don't really shoot shit that doesn't have, I guess, make too much sense, at least to me. And he's like, yeah, I sent him some shit, and he was like, nah, I ain't feeling it. He just kind of just was like hating on it, but that was like just like a random nigga. But like a dude who I actually shot for, this happened like in 2017. I remember I shot a quick little video for him, like a one shot basically, like type thing on a fly cam. And I gave him the video, gave him the whole edited video. It was really short, probably like a minute long. And when he put it out, right, I watched it way after it got released, and then I found out that my credit, the directed by STEFON WHITAKER, was cut out of
what
of the video. And I remember thinking to myself, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, it was funny, right? Because I was with this rapper, me and these two other rappers, or two rappers, one of them who's the person I'm talking about. We went to Atlanta. Because one of the rappers was thinking about getting signed or some shit. So we did that whole thing. And he released it during that time. And then I didn't realize, like, damn, this dude really cut out my credit. And I was like, what in the fuck? Like, so I was mad. I was kind of in that position where I was like, man, I want to smack the shit out of this person, whatever. But it just kind of led to, what didn't work with him forever. And then not too long, which is this music video is released now, is America is the name of the video. That same exact rapper apologized to me like in September of last year, some shit, and said that he wanted to shoot some videos. I'm like, all right, cool. But then still in dealing with him, I was like, this dude is just bad for business, does not really know shit. And I
I
was like,
know
nah,
that feeling, brother.
this would be my last time working with that person. See, my thing is this, right? You know, me being, we're creatives, but we're also businessmen, we're also entrepreneurs, we're also CEOs. There's certain ways we have to handle shit, right? And you know, as I speak about my experiences and stuff like that, this is why I have this podcast. Is like, even though this is an SW Films produced and branded podcast, I am still going to be super realistic and say wild shit. Like working with rappers, I've definitely thought about cutting out music videos in total at times. Like, have you
Oh
got to
yeah.
that point where if you wanted to cut out shooting any type of shit like that because of the
Um,
way people act?
I think that's. I think not that that's the point that I'm at right now, but just to have been able to diversify my catalog. That's what really set me apart from these music videos, because or else I would be having to do these music videos just to have to pay for what it is that I have to pay for, you know.
Yeah.
And to say I haven't like ran into these clients before, man, they everywhere. I've been dealing with some like fucking lunatics, but thankfully we don't have to do that shit no more. There's a lot of well-paying clients, and if I were to tell you I were to hop out of the rap industry scene for making music videos, not even like that. I'd be just trying to keep me and my people safe. Like, and a lot of these situations that artists be trying to put people in are not safe, you know. So I'll be trying to, if I got to go into a situation by myself, just got to know how to really how to
Bro,
go about
speak
it,
to
you know.
that. Speak to that because there's definitely situations where rappers, artists, and musicians will like they, you know, some people grow up, you know, in impoverished neighborhoods. Some people are from the hood. You know what I mean? Some people are from these real kind of traumatic lifestyles, and they start making music. You know, and sometimes they just want to have guns on their video. I don't want to say I've never shot something where they didn't have guns, but no like real live loaded guns. That music video that I'm talking about, America, that one we actually had, we did have a gun on set, and it was a real one, but like we like because we couldn't get any prop weapons. So that was like a big like thing. So I had to make sure, like when I did my safety meeting in front of everybody, cast and crew, say, yo, look, this is a live weapon. We took out the fucking shit, the what do you call this shit? The clip.
Right.
We opened up the chamber, so there's nothing inside, nothing at all. Like this is how it has to go. That was something that was a risk. And I was like, man, this is you know, fuck. But no one has ever like said, yo, I got these AKs, me and my homies, we all about to squat up in this one shot in front of the car, in front of a street. We all just gonna aim it at the camera. Wow. So have you ever seen that short film called You Shoot Videos?
I think you might have said it to me. I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
That's definitely something people should watch, man, because for you to have to possibly risk your life for a quick $2,000, man, it don't take that long to make $2,000. You know, come work at DTS, man. Come holler at us. I would much rather have you hit us up than you go risk your life trying to do the most for people that could get a new videographer, a new camera guy any day of the week. You know, and that's where a lot of these people be trying to box you into. And we love you over here, man. We don't value you. We don't think about you like, oh, you just fucking nigga with a camera, you know. So care about yourself. Give yourself enough of that respect to not have to deal with these clients and shit. If you have to wait to pick up work, diversify. You know, find a different way to push it. But don't just stop because you don't have work coming in. And that's a lot of what I've had to do to continue what I'm doing. Like I've had to film dog shows where I've gotten paid $800 for me and my friend to go film a dog show and stay up in a hotel in Georgia. And man,
That's
it's happened several other times. And dude, that's a fucking dog show. It's the simplest thing in the world. And then another guy's gonna come up to me for a music video that's gonna take me 2 weeks to deliver and be like, man, I got $200. I need
Oh, that's
$200,
hella
bro.
cool though. That's cool to see.
Yeah.
I film the dog show. I like shit like that. I like how one thing I love about the shit that I've always say about SW Films is that I'm very versatile. Like I can shoot this a crazy ass dark music video or a really happy ass music video or commercial that's based on whatever different product or whatever different brand to shooting a fucking short film, whether it's a horror film, a drama, an action, whatever the fuck it is. Like I love the versatility of those types of things. And sometimes I just want to do certain projects just for practice. Like there's this girl who I've met like a while back. who I've heard is like a good cook. I don't really fucking know, but she be posting hella like food and shit on her, her Instagram stories. I'm like, hey, like I want to ask her, like, yo, would you want to do a cooking show? Like I was a part of a cooking show production back in the Midwest, but then that shit kind of fell through. But I still want to do that just to kind of like know that I can do it. I like to
Mm-hmm.
be versatile like that. So to film like a dog show, to hear that this dude with the Dewey was shooting a dog show, like come on,
With the
that's
Dewey on type shit.
that's
Bro, when I
dope,
tell you
yo.
I was in a seat with a remote, just
Uh,
fanning, all day for like fucking 8 hours. And these dogs are awesome, man. Dogs are fucking safe.
yeah, no, I like that. That's cool to have that on the resume. But yeah, I mean, my thing is, man, is what, and I think that you probably have been the same way, or at least that's my question, is like when I was in Indiana, I shot for the same like three artists every single time. You know what I mean? And like I built up
Mm-hmm.
with them until they eventually kind of just decided to stop doing music and kind of just fell off with that. So now that I'm in the Bay Area, now that I'm in the Midwest or in the West, I want to like find like a few artists specifically that I can build with, and just have it be that. I don't want to like do too many music videos. Now, I do want to direct a majority of like bigger artist videos. And of course, that's the goal and that's the plan. But the artists who are kind of still at like a local level, people who are still kind of at a certain level that isn't like super heavy mainstream or whatever the fuck it is, or even in that real kind of heavy underground movement, I want to build with those people. So, like, do you do the same thing? Like, you've had a lot of artists that you continuously shoot their videos every single time. Do you have like, I guess,
Um, yeah, I mean, more often than not, every client that I've shot a video with, whenever they're shooting a video, they'll probably check in with me first, like what type of time you want. And a lot of the time, whether it be just the fact that I don't want to, man, I could work with the same artist for a whole month. Like I have artists that all they want to do is shoot videos back to back to back. But for me to drop videos back to back with the same client doesn't show enough diversity, and
yeah.
you want to be able to have that that catalog with these people. You want to be able to offer that catalog to those people, but I can't make music videos all day. I can't work with the same artist all day. And I want to be able to, and that's the thing, man. I want to be able to get these artists to the point where other people want to shoot their videos, because nobody knows these artists, but everybody thinks they know these artists. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, man. And a lot of these artists are just getting started, and I feel them when they get into this shit, they get interested, they just want to try it out, but temporary, man. I've been doing this shit
That's
for way too damn long.
that's perfect how you said it. Is you want to get it to where these other people would want to shoot their videos. That's exactly some shit. So like there's Mr. 2 and 9. I think you've seen him from a lot of my music videos, a little short Puerto Rican dude. Shout out
Oh
Mr.
yeah, most definitely.
He like I stopped shooting the videos for him. Obviously one because I moved out of Indiana. Two, because he kind of just stopped doing music, but he's kind of like every now and again coming out with some shit. But also like he's an actual friend of mine. So like I'm one of those type of people that, okay, if you're not showing like you have a passion for this shit, you don't have any drive for this shit, I'm not going, like, I'm sorry, it might sound rough to somebody, but I'm not going to help you out. Because here's the thing, like, if I stop doing this film shit, if I was starting to get real lazy about it, there's only a few people I would probably people would definitely want me to continue doing it and probably like try to encourage me to do it. But like I'm about the tough love. Like I'm not the type of person where like, okay, you stop doing videos, then like all right, whatever. Like I'm not gonna give you the push, because you have to do it. You have to give yourself the push first and foremost. I don't give a fuck what anybody says to you. You have to be the one to pick yourself up first to do this shit. So like my thing is,
Yeah.
I kind of just told him, I said, look, I'm not gonna shoot videos for you no more because you're not on your shit. And at the same time, as I'm continuing to grow my brand, I don't want to be necessarily, I don't want to have that a part of my brand just if you're not gonna be on your game, then I can't have it. So but I think he just got a video shot by someone else recently, and I don't know how it went. Me and him kind of spoke about it, and how that process could go. But it's like whatever, man. It's just like I've always tried to get that way too. I don't, I want to continue whoever I build with here in California. I want it to be a situation to where I can build with them, not like a very consistent, super crazy situation where it's back to back to back videos, because you know I do a lot of other shit too, that is outside of client work. But at the same time, I do want to build a relationship with these people, and can always be that type of person. You know what I mean? To kind of get a chance to work with these different folks. But with all the stuff that you've done with the music video lane and just with the commercials and everything else, you also kind of branched out for a minute and shooting a lot of like films that are on Amazon.
Yeah. We
Amazon,
haven't even talked about that. That's crazy, right?
you know, which
Yeah,
is
man.
nuts, man. Like you were DPing a lot of that stuff. Like how did that situation go off? I think it was with I think the production company was called DBS, right?
Yes, sir. DBS Publishing. Shout out all them boys out there. Brandon, all them boys out, Josh, Joel. They go crazy. It's a amazing opportunity that was offered to me in 2018 to film a feature film for a publishing company, a book publishing company in downtown Orlando. And I was talking to them about it, and like any other opportunity, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's cool, very interested," you know. And then they'll go ask somebody else about it. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting this guy, but I don't know. He's thinking about going on tour with some guy named Lil Pump, and then they may not be put on game, but then their friends like, "What?" You know. So when that producer comes back to me and was like, "Honestly, I didn't know what to think about you," but then I talked to my friend and he said, going on tour with Lil Pump was a big deal. Now I looked up Lil Pump, and I think we should get this kind of started. I mean, yeah, why not? Let's see what's up with this. So they put me on contract for my first feature film, which is on Amazon streaming right now, and it's called The Haunting of the Whitlow House, and probably still my favorite of the 5 feature films that I produced with this company. And if Brendan's watching this, he'll be like, "Yo, what the fuck is this thing to talk about?" But I had such a good experience working that film, even though the environment we were in was very new to me, and if you know type shit. But it was great. It was very reassuring for the people that were working alongside me to be able to give me the opportunity to deliver exactly what it is that they were asking for, and I did that shit. And I did that shit. Believe that, And from there, it gave me the opportunity to make 4 more feature films, all streaming on Amazon Prime. And when I tell people that, they'd be like, "Feature film, Amazon Prime? Is it really scary?" Nah, they're not really scary, but basically they set a tone for what it is that I'm capable of doing. And shit, if I could do that shit, if I could shoot and edit that shit, you wouldn't want that for yourself. And for one individual to be able to produce that shit, or a multitude of individuals in the housing to be able to say like, "Yeah, we'll produce this in 6-7 days for this budget," and where we're coming at it from is a lot different, because it is the Enedawry Studios. But I think what we produce versus what we ask for is very affordable. At least, like, if I wanted a video, I'd probably go to the Enedawry Studios.
Yeah,
because it's the best bang for my buck, straight up. Exactly. They offer a good deal, man. I'm telling you.
But here, the thing is like what I've also try to continue to like do for my productions is it's not just to give them a video, whether it's a musician or a commercial client. I try to give them an experience, right? So for instance, for the last 2 music videos that I shot and directed, for that America video, right?
Yeah.
There was a scene that we shot on the very second day where we had to go to the cemetery. And in the scene, it was supposed to be basically the grown-up version of the artist, because there was a kid version of him in there too, but a grown-up version of the artist going to the grave of his father and kind of saying his piece and walking off. And what it was is like, okay, I needed an actual headstone for him to be looking at, so I used the headstone of one of my family members. But it was kind of in a weird spot, and it's a child grave. So it's like face planted in the ground. So I'm like, all right, that's probably not gonna work.
I had to stop and think about that. I was like, "Yo, this motherfucker really grabbed the headstone, put it somewhere else, or some shit." But you just went up to that headstone and something.
Yeah.
That'd be wrong. Okay.
But that headstone was
like, that's heavy as hell.
Yeah. That headstone that we actually shot at was actually the artist's actual, like, I think it was his grandmother. And he went there and he actually like really broke down in tears, because I think she had like passed away pretty recently from that time that we shot. And it was such a moment because him like seeing how he was actually acting, knowing this dude, you know, even though this rapper, I'm not necessarily like, I don't have an issue with him. I'm not necessarily, I would, you know, I don't want to work with him again, but I can respect him in terms of his skill. I think he's a good rapper, and I can respect just that moment because that kind of showed a little bit of like showing like when someone can truly show emotion to me in like a genuine way, not just somebody who just cry on tear, you know, toward sometimes you can tell when emotions is fake, but like seeing that moment, working with the dude, those emotions were real. Him actually breaking down in tears. And then when we got done talking, I remember, you know, I was just letting him know, like, man, your grandma's looking down. She's proud of you in this moment, whatever. And then I remember I was like, yo, give me a hug, man. And he's like, nah. I'm like, nah, get your ass up and give me a hug. You know, this is a little dude, so I'm bigger than this dude. I said, get your ass up, give me a hug. And gave me a hug. And like, that's a moment, man, that not only him, but I had two of my BTS people. I had a BTS photographer and videographer around at the time who were, and his girlfriend or his girl he was fucking with at the time was there. And that was just a moment that none of us will forget, especially him. It's like, yo, technically the very first official video that this dude had, nigga broke down in tears. And in a really good
nigga broke down in tears, my nigga. That's crazy. No, I'm not trying to joke on this, man. Bro, that's honestly like that's such a good trait of yours is for you to be able to have that type of conversation with these people. And like a lot of people won't embarrass themselves to go out of the way. A lot of people are too hard. Cool, nigga, I know I'm hard. Like I don't really, nigga.
Yeah.
So for you to be able to offer that man a hug when he needed it, he's gonna live on with that forever, like you were saying. You know.
Yeah, even if this dude don't like me no more, which if you don't like me, I don't give a fuck. But like I gave you a hug, nigga. You ain't going, you go that shit. But like, and then another thing is with Dion Jada, her music video, like for her very first music video ever, and her career is like really just starting. She's only released 2 songs, and she's amazing. But like, I remember for that first project or the first day of production, I brought on a job shadow / sit-in person, this young girl who's like 12 or 13. Her and her mom came in, and she's like trying to be an actress and a singer as well. So she got to sit in and be a part of that. We got to shoot at this new Black-owned restaurant in Fort Wayne, Indiana that opened up called Elijah's Bakery. Go check them out. Like being able to like put together an experience for everybody on set is what I like. You know what I mean? Whether that's just like a small moment that could be fun, a small like one day I want to give out like for the crew and the cast, I would like to just have whenever the fuck I get SW Films merch made, I want to like give people out, free fucking like the merchandise for them to like, just sport.
Well, man, I'm trying to get to that point. Believe that, just trying to meet your margins.
Yeah, so it's just like the experience is what we like is what we like to sell, because that's what people remember. That's what people really like. Because I've worked on productions, man, that have been like on bigger productions that have been kind of terrible experiences. They don't really want to give you a great experience. And sometimes it just isn't, because of the nature of the industry and the nature of the job, and everything's so fast paced on set sometimes that you aren't going to have a good experience. You know what I'm saying? But like, I always want to make sure to make my people comfortable and all that kind of shit. That's the important thing. But
and it's interesting that you say that too, because you think other people would want that for us. But when we get to set, man, we got to make it go. You got to make everything come together, So all y'all listening out there, if y'all want, STEFON WHITAKER to be on your set, if you want Enedawry Santana, anybody, be on your set, make sure you accommodating us, because that'll go a lot farther than, like anything. A lot of these people will pay you the money and the experience will be whack, and we want to be able to provide you a great experience. So like, you'll be surprised how a little bit of respect will go, just being on time, being attentive, being able to get back. It doesn't take a lot to be a good person,
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think the most recent accommodating video or production that I've had for SW Films, besides Dion's video, I think that one was pretty accommodating. But I had to be the one to accommodate everybody. Like I was the one. I paid all my crew. I paid for I paid them out of my pockets. I paid for all the studios and shit that we shot in, all that type of stuff. And making that accommodating is good. The last production that I've been accommodated was the metal spinning company, Wenzel Metal Spinning, which is the biggest metal spinning company in America. That was a really fun production to be a part of. That's the biggest thing I've done with SW Film since, which has been great. They were accommodating, just the fact that they paid me enough to get my ass to Alabama and shoot. And everybody was cool. Everybody was really nice, which was surprising because it's Alabama, right? Like you expect to be hella racist. And there's like, there was somebody in there. I remember the funniest thing about that. The very first day of the actual shooting, I went in and they introduced me to this guy who was going to be metal spitting this fucking copper or whatever, this bronze or whatever it was, and he had a Trump hat on. And I shook his, he had to meet me because I'm technically the boss there when it comes to when we do the production. I'm the boss, so you gonna have to meet me. So I shook his hand, seen his Trump hat, whatever. Next when I seen him, dude didn't have the hat on no more. He had a hat specifically for like the company, and I was like, oh, that's really funny, And
I like to hear that, yes sir.
Yeah, and I feel like someone said something to him like, hey, bro, like our director.
You have to check yourself before you wreck yourself, man.
Yeah, so that was respect and that was love. But moving on from the music videos and stuff, and kind of back to the DBS situation, like, what did you learn from that? Like, that was you shot 8 movies. That's a huge deal.
Oh no, I shoot 5 movies. I mean, I do have other movies, other short pieces, but I have 5 feature films available for streaming right now on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
But
what did that teach?
I think what I learned from making all those movies, I think you learn as you go. A lot of films taught me a lot of different things, but for you to be able to be on time and punctual and be able to deliver on what it is you say you are, then you're going to continue to get the work that you want, the work that you say you can do. There's a lot of people that come into position and they want these jobs, man. They want to be able to do what it is that, they're being paid for, but they can't do the job, so, and then they get stressed when they can't do the job. So if you can't do it, don't do it. When I look at what it is that I want to do, when I say I want to make a creative ad agency, I got to look at what it is a creative ad agency is doing. I was looking at a very interesting job the other day, which was like the lead video and audio specialist for the president of the United States. Imagine what the fuck, like, how is it that you go about doing that? So I wrote it all down. Like, all right, well, one of those things are done, like, and it's just like being able to knock that shit out. And after time, you would have been able to accumulate. And a lot of this shit is just being able to have the experience on set. It doesn't matter how good you are. I'm very nice at what I do, but I still have yet to work with a TV broadcast company. I've been in many opportunities where I had to interview, but it just never unfolded the way I needed it to, so there's going to be a lot of different things that you and I are going to do to get where it is we need to be, but we're never going to be the money making machines that we aspire to be by doing what it is we're doing now. We have to do different things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it all takes time, man. It all takes time. I feel like, artists in general, we always want instant gratification, which ultimately that means that we kind of want to rush ourselves as well. And I feel like, yeah, we just got to always realize that it takes time to get into certain positions. Like, for me, I feel like my life, well, not my life, but I feel like my career really didn't start to, I started to get notices a lot, throughout the years. I built it up, but I feel like I didn't really get that notice or that look until 2019, which 2019 was kind of like my really good year, because that was like No Sweat Pimp came out. That's when I worked on Big Sean's Single Again music video. I shot that really big country music video that was pretty popular with SW Films. And that's obviously when I moved to California. So it's like, I feel like that's when I started to get looks, especially once I did the Big Sean shit. I got a lot more looks than I ever, from my hometown, from people, from people kind of in close proximity than they ever, kind of that I had ever thought. And then even with No Sweat Pimp was like, nobody expected me to do some shit like that. And I completely switched up some shit, and kind of just changed an outlook. So yeah, it all takes time, man. But I'm glad that you did that with DBS, because like, one, I feel like seeing the homies do something different that's big and that's like monumental and really cool for them, I think it's good to see growth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of makes me sad sometimes when I see some of the people that we know from Full Sail, or that that you may know just in life that has nothing to do with film. When you kind of see them, like you said, be really content with like this somewhat basic job or basic situation that they're in, and you hear them continuously complain about their situation, and they never do anything to get better from that. Like, sometimes it sucks to see those people in that situation. You know what I mean? And sometimes you want to help them, but sometimes you realize, like, fuck, man, I really can't do nothing for some of these people. So sometimes you just gotta kind of.
I be telling them, bro. Man, if anybody listening right now, look at the NASDAQ. Look at what it's been doing for the last 5 years. don't say I never did nothing for you, man, because there are too many opportunities that people miss out on because they're afraid to make a very small investment today.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no,
Exactly. So it's just, I think it's kind of wild, man, that it's always good to see the homies really do a lot of really dope shit. Like it's great to see you do shit. I've been happy with seeing like Freddie's done a lot of super, super dope shit as well.
Freddie go crazy. Shout out my nigga Freddie.
Yeah,
Freddie,
so yeah,
everybody
going wild, man. And even shout out to all my homies in Full Sail that are from Full Sail who aren't maybe doing shit now. Like, Trevor Paulsich, the homie who I was hanging around with a lot. He doesn't really do like him and Deshaun were both in LA and then they both left LA. And they're not really doing a whole lot in the film world anymore. I don't even think Trevor's even like a filmmaker anymore. I think he's kind of getting back into it, but not as heavily as he was before. And Ty's still doing his thing. Ty's out in Thailand doing hella dope shit. But I don't speak.
Yo, Ty's the man. What? See, that's the thing we was fired for, man.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to definitely be on bigger productions like that where we get to rent these fanciest lenses and these fanciest equipment and fucking put a crazy ass setups in a car and go 60 miles an hour down the desert. All that shit is very cool. Levels to bezels, so we definitely gonna get there. Who's gonna be at that table when we get there? That's up to y'all, straight up. You feel me? Like this, know that we have when I say we, me and Stefon, we do the same thing. We have a sincere and intentions with what it is we want to put our name on. And if we didn't want to work with you, we would have told you. There's a lot of people that I have to say like, no, I don't. Yeah. What we have going on is not it, So I think to be able to associate your name with SW Films or the Primero Studios today and be able to make that investment today, it's gonna pave the way for tomorrow. I had that SW Films music video. Yeah,
absolutely. Because the one thing too that we also got to think about, and this comes back to the name dropping situation, is like sometimes coming from where we come from, some people don't want to mess with you sometimes unless you've proved something. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like with the Big Sean situation, I had to like once that shit came out to light, I felt like that's when people really wanted to start paying attention or really wanted to start acting like they were showing love and all this kind of shit. And like I've always had a chip on my shoulder all the time, so like for me, I was just like whatever, and even more when it comes to like a lot of the shit that I've done recently, and I don't know when, like I said, this podcast specifically is going to come out, but I've worked with even bigger projects, since then that is like going to probably result in the
same. They have no idea.
They have no clue. So it's like, and it's going to continue to keep happening. So my thing is the name dropping situation, sometimes letting people know like, yo, I've done all this shit. I've done live shows where I was shooting with Lil Yachty or some shit and Playboy Cardi. Specifically you've done all that really, really dope shit that people have seen. People know the type of shit that you've done. And then when people talk about when it comes to me, when they hear, oh shit, you worked on Matrix 4 or fucking Venom 2 and got out to meet all these people and all this kind of stuff, Shang-Chi, then that's when people are like, damn, yo, I really need to come fuck with this dude because of such and such. Like sometimes that happens. And sometimes, sometimes you gotta, I guess, sometimes it's a realization of like, you know what, obviously we're all kind of built as a society to just like love and trust this like celebrity type of state. And sometimes when you see somebody that personally that's kind of like a part of that world, you look at them differently. You look at them as they've quote unquote made it. And I think regardless, sometimes it's not a bad thing to like, I'm not gonna say flaunt that, but like you said it, man, you the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta let people know you the shit for those specific, not just those specific reasons, but the shit that you've been able to reach that level from being at the very fucking bottom, at the very start of the shit. You know what I mean? Because we're never, at least most of us are not born in a situation to where we have any direct relatability or direct connection to that type of lifestyle. I didn't have that shit. I came from a small ass town where I was a minority, where I was a minority, a black kid in a very small town. It made shit much fucking smaller. So the fact that I could get to the level and be working with like Big Sean, Keanu Reeves, Kendrick Lamar, all these people is work. It's hard work. It's fucking dedication. It's being kind of like wildly unrealistic in a sense too. Like being a dreamer. That's how we've gotten to these certain positions. So like you said, being able to work with Dinero Primero Studios, is a fucking, it's a privilege for people that they have to realize it's a privilege, because not everybody's going to get that really great experience that you give, that I give, that all these other cool people give. So it's a privilege, it's an experience. And with that privilege and experience, and with that challenging stuff that we built up, it leads me to our final fucking main topic of No Sweat Pimp, right?
Mhm.
So I want to just kind of briefly talk about what it means to me, and then how you gave the name. I remember we were texting about something. We were texting about some editing shit, actually. And I forget what it was. I think it was about some coloring software or something. And then you had sent me the link to something, and I was like, "Oh, thank you, bro. I appreciate it." Da, da, da. And you was like, "Ah, no sweat. It's No Sweat Pimp." And I'm like, "No Sweat Pimp." I screenshot it. I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna use this for something. I don't know what, but I'm gonna use it because I ain't never heard nobody say it's No Sweat Pimp. Like that just sounded cool. You know what I mean?"
I don't
So
know. I don't know what made me say that. I don't know where I might have heard that, but it does sound cool, right? No
yeah,
question. But that's
No
the
Sweat
thing,
Pimp.
man. A lot of things sound catchy. I don't hang to hostage of. I don't think my situation is any better than a situation that I can put myself in. You know, so
Yeah,
if for whatever reason I sell DPS at 800 million, I have another company coming right after that. You know,
yeah,
how it is.
yeah, exactly. So it was just, when you said it, I was like, I'm gonna use it for something. And at the time, I was creating No Sweat Pimp, but it wasn't called No Sweat Pimp. It wasn't No Sweat Pimp. It was some other shit. I forget the names I had, but like I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and take this and use it. But I had to build a meaning behind it, because it wouldn't have made sense for me to just say, hey, here's No Sweat Pimp, and not have a fucking meaning. So what No Sweat Pimp means to me, what it meant to me, is realizing that things are going to be okay during the negative, during the traumatic times, during the depression, during the grief. There's always there's always an outlook. There's always a positive outlook that can come through just belief in yourself, belief in, whatever that may be, because not everybody's super spiritual or religious. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. I believe in God. If you've heard the album, people know that. But yeah, that's like one of those kind of things, like just believing in yourself, believing in the power that you can do things no matter at what state that you're in, that you can continue to fucking climb and accomplish things. Like with No Sweat Pimp, and you've heard the album, there was a lot of there's a lot of like shit that I talked about on the album that could be deemed like kind of negative, or deemed kind of like not, just deemed in a very different way. Like I talked about fucking suicide on there. I talked about I was dissing rappers, I was dissing people. I got to the point on the album, when I was creating it, and on the album too, where I was like, I was like trying to go after people who I knew personally, who were like in my life. And that was just one of those things where I kind of built off humility, you know? And I want to talk about humility because I think humility is a big part of the album, right? Like there's the song on the album called Disrespectful, where I was talking to my mom, and I'm like, that's probably the most emotional song on the album. And I talked heavily just about all this shit that my mom never really knew. And it was like, it's a moment of humility to be able to say this to certain people, right? So for you, as you've gone about your journey as a filmmaker, as an entrepreneur, as a human being, like what lessons have you really learned in like a humiliating way, not like in a like fucking egg on your face humiliating, but like something that kind of humbles you to a sense, to where it's like, you know what, it was a lesson that it kind of helped you get to where you're at today, and just the mentality. Because one thing I've noticed about you too is your mentality has seemed to really mature and like strengthen up a lot since like Full Sail. Like we'll get to the message that you sent me whenever the fuck that was, when I texted you saying, "Y'all, man, this shit's going bad right now." But we're gonna talk about you for now. What humility have you kind of faced in the 5 years since Full Sail that has kind of helped you get to a certain spot?
I think just to speak on like what it is that no sweat pimp might even mean to me.
Yeah.
I think I've heard this shit 1,000 different ways. I think I've heard Tom Hanks say it. He says, "This this too shall pass." And there's a lot of people that say this shit different. They have different ways of saying this, and there there's a million reasons to stop doing this shit. And we, as humans are very easy to convince ourselves to not do something, to procrastinate. But it's not even about being your best at every fucking second of the day, but for every day that you do your best, that's one step closer to your goal, you know? And a lot of people may look at like, oh, damn, I didn't go today, or I didn't go this week. That's fine, man. At least you got started, you know? And to be able to get started, it just paves the way. A lot of people want to know how it is that we go about doing this shit, or how it is that they can collab with us. Get started, man. Because like shit, if I want to work with you, we'll get working, you know. But for someone to only want to work with me, it can't be like one sided. We got to both be bringing something to the table.
Exactly.
And as far as speaking on just very humbling situations, you'd be surprised what instances you put yourself in. Because like I don't even think people know me like that, but I don't even think that not that I don't think highly of myself, but at least I think I'm the only Enedawry Santana in the world. And that's a crazy ass title. And better believe I live up to that, you know? So that's an amazing feeling, you know? And a lot of people will look at what you have going on and they might try to put you in a box. And that's fine, you know, for people to look at what it is we do and try to be like, all right, I only want this though, you know? That's cool too. That's why I had to find different ways to push this energy. And a lot of people might not even get back to you. A lot of people may take their work elsewhere. And that in itself is humbling, you know, because maybe you need to find a new way to let these people know that like their money is better off in your pocket. Let's believe that. When I be looking at the videos that these people get from other people, I don't even want to say anything because it's like, really? For real, that's how you're going out like that? You're going outside, bro.
Yeah.
But that speaks on our team because like if you working with DPS, I'm showcasing you as an artist. If anything, I'd expect you to push DPS the way I push DPS because shit, we showcasing you, you know. So a lot of these people like that idea as well, you know. There are people that have been with us for a long time that may not support us the way a lot of these new people are supporting us. But that's very artificial. That's very temporary. I have a lot of people that have been with me for a long ass time, and I couldn't even imagine doing this shit without them. It would be completely different without them. You know, like the points in which the crazy experiences that I've had to be able to pull those people from those situations. I don't know that those situations would have unfolded the way they did. You know, like I'm only one person. So for me to be able to approach a situation with yourself or Freddie throughout my days in the past, it shows a lot when not only do you believe in yourself, but you have a team of crazy ass individuals who believe in yourself as well. So for me to be able to push that boulder for you and for me to be able to go to bat for Freddie, just the whole team, like we're all winning. No matter if he books that gig or he books that gig, we're all staying busy, you know?
Yeah.
So to be able to understand that you as an artist, you may not feel that like, damn, things aren't going the way I thought they would go. They never do, man. They never fucking, you know, they're never gonna go exactly the way you thought they would. But try to find a reason to push this shit because it can't just be for somebody else. You know, you have to feel a sort of attachment to your project. It sucks when you can't feel like you're interested in what it is you're working on. And sometimes your job is like that. Find something you're interested in, man. You can make money off anything, you know. Exactly. And
yeah,
just recently, what I'm about to do with my business and my finances is humbling too, because like when somebody puts a number on the piece of paper and they're like, "This is what you have to say," it's like, all right, shit, you know, like I didn't think it was gonna cost that much, but here we are, we're at the table, and it's better to have those problems than I don't know something else. I'd hate to fucking complain about not being able to eat or have water that I could drink. You know, like there are people, man. I don't even want to shout out Palestine, man. Y'all better stop playing with them niggas. Straight up, man. Like there's a lot of shitty shit going on in the world right now, and I think that touches back on being able to document things. You know, a lot of things may not be as interesting to other folks, but shit has been documented for a long ass time. You know, that's why we're watching shit to this day. So I have this book by Edgar Allan Poe, and I remember reading. He never really was successful in his life. He was like one of those artists that after they had passed, their work was like imaginable, and you see where his shit has gone. And maybe your work isn't seeing the light of day today, but sometimes we all feel like that. And then we'll be reminded that, yo, you got some classics, you got some bangers. I have videos that I produced for a long ass time ago, and I'll hear stories about how people will say, you know what this motherfucker say? He said this is your best video. At least I have favorite videos of mine. Like I never used to be able to say that, so that's humbling as well. And just the family keeping me 10 toes down, to be able to show the love, like to be able to still have my parents in my life, and my little sister, and my older brothers. My older brother was just here; he just split, and they see what I do, and they may not have any idea on how this shit comes together, or any idea of how cool this shit is, and it's that in itself is like, wow, how do y'all not know I'm nice? Like I live with y'all, and for one of my older brothers to be like, Dinero Primero Studios. I don't really like the name. I'll be like, Mom, nigga, I'm already selling clothes. What do you mean you don't like the name? It's already gone. Like, it's way past that. So it's a lot of back and forth with people that you don't have to have that back and forth with, but just know they want the best for you as well, So that's humbling too, man. Cause like my nephew and my niece will be here, and they don't know how cool their fucking uncle is, That's the craziest thing. And I don't care to tell them, they're gonna find out.
Oh man, I love that. That was beautifully said, man. Like that just it's great to have that, especially on the family side of it. Like my mom has always been my number one supporter, still to this day. Like shout out moms, I love you. She's been like everything as far as my just support and like the foundation to help get me into this spot, and same thing with my dad as well. It is humbling sometimes when you realize that you're one thing that I've noticed, right? I always tell my family, my mom, my dad, and my brother, I'll tell them, I said, hey, yo, I'm working on this thing, and it's always like some shit. It's always some big shit. Like I'm working on Matrix, I'm working on Shang-Chi, I'm working with Kendrick, Big Sean, whatever. One thing that I notice, right? And I don't look at it as a bad thing, but one thing that I notice is when I tell them that, they don't have like a really crazy, huge expression, vocalization of it. And sometimes that used to bother me, but then I realized, you know what? I think the thing is that they kind of knew that I was going to do this shit from the beginning. So like, it's not like a surprise. Like, it's like, yo, we know that our son, that my little brother, whatever, is going to be the man, and he's going to help not just himself get to a spot, but us as a family and all this kind of shit get to a certain spot. So I think they look at it. That's kind of humbling to me, knowing that it's not always like a crazy expression of like, yo, fuck, I just worked on this. I just did this. I just did that. Like, it's just a genuine proud, like, we know that you are going to do this shit. We believe in you and we support you. And I love that. And my mom and dad have always been there to support. I feel like they're the ones that don't ever like, have not really never shown me to like support. My older brother, Roosevelt, shout out to Roosevelt. Like I remember one time he told me, I forget when he told me this. This is like way after like college. Like I graduated from college. And I remember because him, my brother, or excuse me, him, my mom, and his wife dropped me off in Florida. And I remember he told me, he's like, man, honestly, when we dropped you off, he's like, I didn't think he was going to do it. I was like, man, he probably going to drop out and come back to Indiana and all this kind of stuff and all this kind of shit. I forget when he told me this, but when he told me that, part of me was very surprised, but then part of me wasn't, because like, and I love my brother, so this is not disrespect on him in any way, but like, I've come to that conclusion even now to this day with the stuff that I've done, that sometimes your family's not always going to believe in the shit that you do or understand or give a fuck what you do until it really somewhat directly impacts them, or they see how big it fucking is, and they like, holy shit, he's a part of this thing, and I feel like, that was kind of humbling to me too. And I think it was humbling for him as well to realize that he was fucking wrong. But like, it was humbling for me to hear that, because it was like, damn, someone who I'm so close to didn't think I was going to do it. But at the same time, that it humbled me, because I shouldn't just always expect that from people who are like, who love me and all that kind of shit. I shouldn't expect that from people. And I think that's what kind of ends up, has made me kind of grow sometimes a little bit of resentment for a lot of people, is I expect motherfuckers to support my shit, like who are close to me. But it's like
I went down like that.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Like, you want some of my love? It's not go down like that. But are you allowed to talk on that on your work with Kendrick?
A little bit, and I'm definitely gonna talk about that just a little bit because I don't know when the fuck that video will come out. But I am gonna talk about
Well,
it.
my question for that really was like, so you go to your mom and you're like, hey mom, I work with Kendrick. Like, what the fuck did she say?
So on that project, right? So it was crazy, man. Like I remember I texted you, I sent you a message on Instagram, and I forget what had happened. I think I was either asking you about the podcast at that time, or we were just talking about some shit. And like I was going through some shit. I was having a very fucking like terrible July, like a completely. Bro, I'm talking about.
That's it, man.
I went to Colorado with my homies Brandon Akers and Brandon Spalding and Dylan Belcher, who all have been seen on the channel, vlog channel, when that was a vlog channel. Shout out to all my homies out there, my hometown homies. But we all went to Colorado. It was a really good time, really fun. But when I got back, I felt like shit just felt like a domino effect. I was going through just stupid ass shit. Like my car had got broken into before Colorado. My car had got broken into in Oakland, which happens a lot in Oakland. Motherfuckers get their cars broken into a lot, but my car got broken into and I was hella mad about that. Had to get my back window fixed. Didn't even steal shit, but they just broke my shit. Had to get that fixed. Then when I came back from Colorado, I left my car at my homie's apartment complex. And then when I come back, my side mirrors busted off my damn car. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
God damn.
You know,
not a good day, man.
Yeah. And then like I was also pretty much like kind of broke because I spent hella money and like all these checks and money from clients and shit like that were, usually on like a lot of big productions, it takes like a net 30 sometimes, or I think if it's invoice, it comes a little quicker. I forget how that shit usually goes, but sometimes a lot of stuff is on a net 30. So, you don't get your check until 30 days after the production ends or whatever. Yeah. So, that sucks. So I didn't have a whole lot of money. And then, I had to get my mirror fixed and it took a long time for my insurance to get that shit fixed. And then I was like, damn, then my apartment like situation, like I was like, I didn't think I was going to move into this apartment. Now, as people are watching this, I have moved into my apartment. I am in my old spot in Vallejo, California, but I have moved into my own studio apartment. I'm so fucking excited about that. Can't wait to move. But anyway, didn't think I was going to get the apartment. So I was still searching for that. And then the funniest thing, right, when it comes to humility, I had asked this girl out on a date, right? And you're gonna laugh at this shit, but I asked this girl out on a date, and she's a filmmaker too. She's someone who's she's a really well-known, like people really love her work, and she's a great actor and stuff too. Shout out to her, if you happen to be listening and watching this. But I asked her out on a date. She's cool people, but like I asked her out on a date, and I was filming a music video at the time in Santa Cruz, and we were in like this line to go into this so the artist could get on this merry-go-round, and I was like going to be filming off to the side, and I saw the message on my like Apple Watch popped up, and she denied me. Basically, she denied me in a very nice way, right? But I remember when I saw the message, I looked up, right, and behind the merry-go-round, behind the carousel, was this picture of a clown. And I looked at this shit.
God dang.
I looked at it and like it was looking directly at me. And I swear, bro, like on some really surreal type shit, I swear this motherfucker said, "Now you know what it feels like to be me." And bro, that was a humiliating, but also a very funny. Like I did laugh in my head about that. Like I did laugh about that. But
yeah, you gotta laugh them all straight up.
I felt like I was going through such a shitty time. And I wasn't working either. Like during a lot of that period of that time, I didn't have a whole lot of work until that music video. And then I started to get a little bit more work at that time. So I had worked on a commercial. I worked on a commercial shoot, and I worked with this first AD named Jason Halley. Shout out to Jason Halley. He's somebody who I had met only once, but he's like a legend here in the Bay because this dude has been like an AD in a lot of the Fast and Furious movies and all that kind of stuff. But he was the first AD on Kendrick Lamar's All Right music video, which is a fucking legendary music video. One of the best music videos ever, in my opinion. And he was the first AD on that. So I asked him, I was like, yo, like, you worked with Kendrick. How was that? Like, what was that experience like? All this kind of stuff. Da, 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 da. He told me the experience. He said it was great, da, 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 whatever. So it was crazy too at the same time. I was like, awesome. Then later that same exact day, I get a call from this first AD who I worked with, named Travis Knight. Shout out Travis. Travis is an amazing dude. Shout out to him. I worked with him on a short film for Misty Copeland, who's a very big like ballerina dancer. Look her up; she's fucking incredible. I was a second AD on that. That was my first second AD position. He called me up and said, "Hey, I got this job, and it's a Kendrick job." Now, I like had to stop him because I thought I heard him say Kendrick, but I was like, "Are you for real?" And I asked him, and basically it's NDA, so he's not really supposed to say, but he's like, "Hey, Kendrick Lamar." And I'm like, "Huh?" He said his first cousin, Baby Keem. I'm like, "What?" I'm like, premonition, bro. I'm talking about premonition.
brother, just speak English.
Premonition. This dude, I spoke to Jason Halley about the Kendrick video. Something that I knew when I met this dude, I wanted to ask him about. And Kendrick Lamar has been one of my heroes forever. We've been listening to Kendrick fucking since like 2010, 2011, 2009. And to that same exact day I get asked to work with the dude, I said, yes, I'm doing it. I got off that job I was on, drove out to LA the very next fucking day, worked on that shit. I met Kendrick. That shit was insane. He was the first and only celebrity where I kind of did not know what the fuck to say to the dude. I kept repeating myself. I just kept saying, it's an honor, it's an honor, it's an honor, it's an honor. I just kept saying that shit every time I would see him. But like, that was insane. And Baby Keem was hella cool too. Baby Keem was actually a really cool ass dude. I fuck with Baby Keem. But that was just and also working with Dave Free. If you know who Dave Free is, he's the director of that music video. Dave Free has been with Kendrick since the beginning of his career. They all have their company PG Lang together. So that was just really cool to be a part of that and to meet these people. And I'm like, holy shit. Like that brought me to a moment to where it was very humbling, but also very grateful because I was like, holy shit, yo, this little ass black boy from Angola, Indiana, got an opportunity of a fucking lifetime. I got a chance to cross off a life goal, kind of like to meet Kendrick and work with Kendrick Lamar. And now I'm just waiting for J. Cole.
Major bucket list.
That's the thing too. Like even with the J. Cole situation, I don't know if you know who the rapper. His name is Mez. Shout out to Mez. Dude is amazing rapper from North Carolina as well. He directed what the fuck is that song from Cole? How am I forgetting it? Middle Child. He directed the Middle Child music video and he directed the Amari music video. And I got a chance to send Mez my short film Black Rose Wanders, which is coming out very soon, hopefully. I got to send him that. He saw it and he said, "Yo, this is Black Rose Wanders is a vibe." And that was like, holy shit, I'm that close. I'm close. So it's like to knock off those type of things, it feels great. You know what I mean? And when I told my mom that, to get back to your regular question, my mom, it still was like a kind of like, oh wow, that's really cool. But then like when it was done, you know what I mean? My mom's a little bit older, so but she listened to Kendrick. My mom has the To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, and the damn CDs in her car. She be listening to them shits. So like, my mom was like when it was done, my mom was like, "I'm so proud of you." Like the fact that you're knocking off these goals and shit. And then even my cousin Hilton Day, shout out to Hilton, who is my mentor out here and all that stuff, and has done some incredible shit out here. He's the man out here. Like he's the man. Like he just told me yesterday, like, "Yo, I'm proud of you. You're moving at a very good pace. Keep going."
Like, yeah. Yes, sir.
All of that shit, all the positive reinforcements that get kind of tossed to me, that kind of feels humbling because it reminds me at the same time that I am not necessarily where I want to be. And when I see like my homies do a lot of dope shit, that is humbling too. Because we all have different outlooks. Like you said, you want to be on bigger productions and all that shit. And it's amazing. But I also see the shit that you're doing, like building off like a real brand for DPS in a way that I haven't expanded SW Films to. That shit is humbling and just inspiring as well. Because it's like, man, this is like dope to see my homies get it. And like seeing that as an example helps me kind of realize, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to stop always thinking I'm the shit for sure. But sometimes I gotta like level the ego down and remember that there's still shit that I need to get done. And it's good to see it. So those are humbling moments for me, being a part of that. I think that humility is like beautiful to have. And it's really good that you've like gotten to this level that you're at and continuing to fucking grow. And it's only getting fucking crazier from here. The do-rag's only going to get more suede from here.
More velvet, you know that.
You know what I'm
I don't know
saying?
if you see that. If you know, you know. It's you feel me?
You know what I'm saying? So to end off this podcast, I just have two quick little questions before we get getting out of here. One question is, what is the last movie you've seen in theaters or just in general? And because this podcast is called the Excellent Podcast, and what it is based off is cinematic excellence. But besides cinematic excellence, it's always excellent people. But this is I run a film production.
Oh, you know what I watched? I watched Resident Evil: The Last Chapter. Shout out Resident Evil series. I love fucking Resident Evil. I was in DR and my uncle was like, "Do you want to watch?" I'm like, I'm gonna put on Netflix on it. He's like, "Oh, I don't know, Netflix don't really have nothing on there. I'm not." Let's see, maybe the kids know more than me.
Yeah.
Go on that bitch. See Resident Evil. I already know the deal. I don't know if you're watching, if you watch Resident Evil or Silent Hill, but those are like, when you talk about like what I want to be doing, we kind of deliver like that. Like that's a company that's going to be around for a long time. That's not just like a one and done. So to be able to make a series, an abundance of work under your belt that you could like call, this is a body of work that I produce, Yeah. Like people walk away with careers that they've been in positions for like, who knows how long, and you want to be able to bring that to the next table. You could build yourself as you go, like you could continue to work on yourself all day, but there are other people out there that need your resources. And once they see what it is that you're capable of, they're going to tune in, and it may not all be the same thing. There's a lot of people that look at what I do and they're like, I like his live shows. I just like when he takes selfies. And who really knows why people are going to gravitate towards you? But be able to diversify yourself, because to be able to make a commercial about me wearing some clothes or me playing basketball or whatever, just to be able to outsource different types of talents. I don't know if you saw that at the end of my commercials or at the end of my more previous work, I've been ending it with like a claymation. And that's not something that I've been like, I didn't know nothing about that until I did it. Like that's some real Nickelodeon. So go get inspired by whatever it is that you've always been inspired by. Everything's been done already. Like go find shit you fuck with, do it again. So best believe when you see me make a Resident Evil type movie or a Silent Hill, like big creepy vibes, we talked about it today. So last movie I watched was Resident Evil Last Chapter.
Awesome
Fucking movie. Yeah.
Last movie for me was The Green Knight, which literally came out like this Friday. That just came out. Very, very good movie. Very amazing. Shout out David Lowery, who is a great director and very versatile in the shit he's directed. That dude went from directing A Ghost Story with Casey Affleck, then directing Pete's Dragon, a very child ass like movie, and then directing Green Knight, which was kind of some wild shit. Very good movie. Then the last question is, since you also work with at Amazon too, how do you feel about Jeff Bezos going to space?
Oh man, I thought that there was a petition to make sure he stayed out there, or there was other people saying like, when he comes back in, let's just not act like we know who he is, and that's all cool. But like, I think people in that position, like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and high-ranking officials in the government, no one's saying that they have to be here to please you. Like, yeah, they have a lot of money, but because he made that initial investment doesn't mean that he owes you that today. And a lot of people think, oh man, Jeff, we only get paid 50. What the fuck? Like, motherfucker, you only push your boxes. Like, you're only worth what you're doing. So you have to bring more knowledge to the table. And when I tell you, I have music videos that I've made with managers at Amazon, keep selling. You feel me? Like, this should be not stopped. So I have to really let these people know that like this isn't it, and for people to try to sell you on that and be like, man, you just work a little harder. Man, I work hard as shit. Like, for anybody to tell you otherwise, they're not worth the time that you might not see that your time is suitable with those people. It's not anything personal, but yeah, working at Amazon, I think Jeff Bezos has done a lot of good things for us to be able to do what it is we do. Now, don't get me wrong, it's difficult every day, every freaking day, but at the end of the day, you have to decide what it is you want to do. And when I go to work and I tell myself like, all right, well, you don't want to work no more. You don't want to lace up your boots anymore and go to work. You better have something you're going to do, you know? So until that day, I'm going to continue to tie up my boots, and every other day of the week that I have off, go crazy. GPS, go crazy, you know? So that's really where I'll be spending my time. Like, I think a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to, and this is something that I'm guilty of, is I spend a lot of time editing or shooting the video. And reality, you should spend a lot more of your day trying to formulate how it is you want to do this shit and working on possible leads, because you could work with the same people for the rest of your life. But if you put together a nice body of work and have a real estate portfolio video to be able to show somebody, and a movie real estate portfolio reels, then you could bring it to a lot of different clients. And maybe they don't want to pay what you're asking for, but at least your name's in the hat, you know? And if they don't want to pay the price, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah, 1,000, bro. That's what's up. I like that. I feel like there's definitely some people who might, because there's so many people who do not like Jeff Bezos. So some people might disagree, but I agree with you. I think,
yeah, I mean, bro, I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of people that are going to be like, whatever opinion Jeff Bezos might have on whatever it may be. I'm not a Jeff Bezos fanatic. I just see that I have health insurance. You know, my 401k looks good right now. So whatever he's doing to better my time there, because I don't plan on working on Amazon forever, but they taking care of me while I'm there, and I'm not taking no type of disrespect. I'm always taking charge. Shout out Big Sean, no cap. So yeah.
There you go. Shout out Big Sean. I love it. All right. Tell everybody, man, where they can find you, where they can find DPS. Give everyone your socials and
yes, sir. So my name is Enedawry Santana. I'm the CEO of Dinero Primero Studios until somebody wants to fucking take that seat away from me type shit, you know? And you can find me on everything. Go on Google and type in Enedawry and you'll see it's Enedawry. I got you, Enedawry on anything, you know, and you'll find me. And man, tap in. If you want some work,
oh shit, my bad. Yeah, the time.
Yo, my fault. Nah, I've been meaning to tell you my laptop was about to die, but we was just caught in conversation.
Oh, your laptop died?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, I thought it was me, because I had picked a time from 10 to 12, and I thought the time is what fucked it up. But your laptop died. Okay, good point.
Oh, you thought the Zoom? Nah, yeah, we straight.
All right, we back.
Oh yeah, but at Enedawry on fucking everything. Check out the word. I know it's gonna look a little different, but here we are, you know. And if you want to check out the merch, we're going crazy. We have some tees left. Everything else is sold out, but that's another thing, man. I'm very excited for the new season of all this shit, because I'm working on mock-ups right now, and it's exciting, bro. Like I was saying, to be able to mix match the DPS and wear my clothes, like wearing the Supreme tee is cool and all, but my t-shirts feel a little, you know, feel like home, you know. So
yes, sir.
It's just a good feeling.
Yeah, that's what's up. Nah, man, I love it, dude. You've been doing an amazing job. You already know how proud I am of you, and you already know, man, you my motherfucking brother for life. So like, I can't wait. I can't wait till we actually get a chance to, like, you know, merge together and do some shit. And it's definitely gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen. I do want to make my way out to Florida pretty soon. I'll be letting you know when I can do that. When I'm hoping to do it probably this year, by the end of the year.
Sometime. I'm trying to do some crazy shit. When me and Stefon have a project, oh man, bro, I feel bad for these niggas. Nobody can post that week. Nobody's allowed to do shit, man. They gotta stop.
Yeah, nigga, it's like we Drake or something. Don't drop when we drop.
No cap.
We on the way, and that's for anyone in the way. Come on now.
Yes, sir.
My man, thank you, bro. I appreciate
my brother. Thank you for your time, brother. Straight up. I'm sorry we couldn't make this happen earlier, but I'm glad to be able to have even opportunity, because like you're interviewing me, my nigga. I feel like I should be interviewing you. You feel me? So hopefully next time I'm on the show, I have a lot more shit to talk about, and we're a lot more well-rounded with what it is that we're doing, you know?
Yeah, bro. Hell yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening and joining on the podcast, this very first episode. I appreciate all the love and I hope that you guys continue to listen in and watch the podcast. Once again, I'm STEFON WHITAKER, your cinematic host, the head honcho of SW Films. You can follow me on Instagram, Arkel96, ARKEL96, and SW Films Production on Instagram as well for my production company. And hit the link tree. You're going to find a bunch of different shit on there to all my socials. So thank you, everybody, for listening. And we'll see you on the next one. So I'm going to stop recording.
Make sure y'all subscribe, man. Make sure y'all subscribe, too.